Hi, Mandy Curry with Healthy Kids Inc. Thank you for being here today. We are so excited to feature this interview series. So in this series, we're really trying to bring some folks who have some great experience with health and with foods and nutrition and kids nutrition. And this interview has it all. So we're really excited about this. So we've been trying to share with you the harmful effects of sugar and what processed foods can do on the body, and really just how healing good food can be for you, for your kids, and for your whole family. So today I'm so excited to have my mom with me, and this is an interview that I've been waiting for quite some time, and it's such a great success story. So many of you may have followed her blog over the past year or so, but my mom was diagnosed with fibromyalgia in 1990 when I was a teenager. So we remember when all that happened, and we remember just obviously seeing her progress with this through the years, and it got much worse. And finally we had to make some changes. So she's going to talk about her journey of dealing with fibromyalgia for many, many years and how she's been able to really cure that. And again, you're going to see the you're going to see the healing effects of food as she goes through this journey. So, yay, I'm so glad to have her here.
I'm so glad to be here.
I know. We've been waiting for this for an awful long time. So, okay, we want to talk about fibromyalgia. So, we tell everybody what that even is, because we say fibro in our family. So, fibromyalgia, but it's kind of this unknown, funky muscle disease.
That's exactly what it is. It's unknown, it's funky, it affects your muscles, your tendons. You're in this incredible pain all over. But it's not just the pain, it's this fatigue that you suffer all the time, like you just can't make it through another day, or you can't get up in the morning. It just takes, the fatigue's terrible.
It's the worst part, yeah.
It's the worst part of it, but it is pain, it's fatigue, it's fuzziness, it's bad, it's cranky, you can't sleep. It's just not fun.
So like your muscles feel like they're just hurt, they hurt to the touch.
They hurt to the touch. You've got all these tender points all over you that when you touch them, you can't believe it, and then it radiates out through the rest of your body. So you just feel like you're in pain from head to toe.
So you had the pain from when you went to sleep, when you woke up. How long did it take you to get out of bed?
Oh
my gosh.
It's a crazy thing when I used to get out of bed. I'd set my alarm clock for like 5 o'clock in the morning if I was going to get up at 6:30. So by that time I would have, the nerve to get out of bed, because it hurt and you were so tired. Just dragging yourself to the shower was ridiculous. And that went on all the time. Sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning I'd start waking up thinking, oh my gosh, it's 2 hours till 5 o'clock, and then I'm going to start this dreaded thing. I used to say if I could get up one day and feel like just a normal person, that'd be the greatest thing.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's why, and the doctors really don't even understand it in some cases.
They don't, and I've been to so many doctors and tried so many different things, and it just kept getting worse and worse.
So that's what we're going to talk about, is this whole progression of what you went through to get it fixed, because it really was. I mean, it was probably about 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. Your pain had gotten really bad, and it was getting worse and worse. And it was probably, I think it was around Christmas time, that Dad actually said, if we don't see some changes, he said, I'm going to be a widow. And it was one of those, it was terrible.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those just eye-opening. We had to make a change. We just couldn't let this go any further. And we are big problem solvers in our family, so we've really tried a bunch of different things. So we'll talk through all the different things that you did. You did massage therapy.
I did. First, I got to tell you about when I first noticed it. I went to my family doctor, and he told me I had arthritis, because it first started in my chest. That's where the first tender points that I noticed. And he told me that I had arthritis, and so his answer was to take 16 Advil a day, 4 Advil 4 times a day, which wrecked my stomach. And I still to this day has wrecked my stomach. So that was my first attempt. And from there it was just doctor after doctor of trying to figure out. I finally found a doctor that said they thought it was fibro, but we didn't. At that time, in the early 90s, had never even heard of it. I even went to Cleveland Clinic, and I went to a doctor there that had done lots of research on it. And he confirmed I had fibro, but never talked about my diet. It was just take this medication, this medication, and this medication. Yeah. And that started us down the medication.
So you did medication for how many? For years?
I did medication for almost 20 years. I have done massage therapy. I did chiropractor. I did See, well, when after probably 4 or 5 years ago, the kids started dragging me down here to Charleston, and we did Reiki, and we did acupuncture, and we did foot detox, and I think we've just about tried everything.
And every time her pain would get a little bit worse, we'd try something else, and we'd try to research some more. All right, so you tried all of these, but we have to talk about the foot bath, because I think that was the time for us that, I mean, we knew what was going on, but we couldn't feel the pain that you felt, and we didn't understand all this, but we did this detox foot bath. And so we got this really like high-end foot bath that we brought home for the night, and you had to put special salts and minerals in it, and we all took turns doing the detox. And so naturally, mine and Dad's, ours comes out with your typical metals and black specks, and you could see some of those toxins being flushed out. Yours came out with yeast. Yeast. The water was filled with yeast. It was the wildest thing for us.
It was just foamy white yeast.
Like you were going to make bread dough is really what it was like. It was nuts to us. So I think that's when at least it started to kind of dawn on us that there's an overgrowth of yeast obviously in your body.
That's right.
And that was the start of it.
It was. And then a little bit after that, we thought we'd try acupuncture. So Mandy made me an appointment in Morgantown, so I went to acupuncture, and they did this foot bath too. And it was even more high tech. I mean, it was thousands of dollars for their foot bath. And when I put my feet in it, the white yeast just foamed and foamed. And then when you got underneath the foam, it was cold black.
Oh, no way.
I mean, it was just like tar that they poured out of that water. So you could definitely tell I had a lot of toxins in my body. But we should have gone farther then, and we didn't.
We just didn't, we didn't know.
We went, after the acupuncturist saw that, she suggested that I take a probiotic. So we did do that.
Yeah.
But that's as far as we went then.
As you went.
Yeah.
So little did we know that your whole body was just filled with toxins and yeast, and that was really what was contributing to all the pain.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So coincidentally, during this time, Carrie, our friend Carrie, who was also on the interview series first, she was going through this process of learning about autism and the gut, and she was keeping us up to date on that, and she started to see a lot of correlations between autism, ADHD, the fibro, that all of those start in the gut.
Right.
And that's when we learned.
And she would send me a message from Facebook and say, Lou, I think this is it. This, she sees the correlations all the time, and she kept telling me she thought that that it was all in the diet.
It was the diet.
But by this time, as bad as you hurt and as bad as you feel, you cannot believe it could possibly be your diet.
Yeah.
It couldn't be something that simple.
That simple. But let's talk about what you were eating at the time then, because obviously the pain was so bad, so you almost feel like you're eating just to soothe in some cases.
That's exactly right.
So it was...
it was all carbs and pasta and pizza, and I don't drink water, at all. And
so it was all Sprite.
It was all Sprite.
Yeah.
I did drink clear liquid, so I knew that's what I should do. So I drank Sprite all day, but I ate sweets. My whole diet consisted of comfort food.
Yeah.
And that's just the way I ate like that for years and years.
Yeah. And you never ate much. I mean, that was the thing. But like, I'd be talking to her on your way home, and you say, and you were going through Dairy Queen for a Blizzard. That may be all that you ate for dinner.
That's right.
So it wasn't like it was tons of calories and stuff, but it was all the sugar and the carbs that little did we know it was.
My body craved that stuff, and I used to always say I was addicted to carbonation, that I couldn't live without that carbonation, and I knew it was something about that, and I kept telling people, I think I'm addicted to carbonation, and nobody and everybody looked at me strange until I finally went to the doctor, and the very first thing she told me was no carbonation.
Oh my gosh.
So then that told me what I knew in my own mind. I knew there was a correlation with this carbonation, because I couldn't go without it. Even when I tried to drink water, I'd get carbonated water.
Yes, yeah.
I went through a stage where that's all I drank was that carbonated water, but I couldn't go without the carbonation.
So what we realize now in hindsight is that the yeast is actually, the sugar is what fuels the yeast.
Right.
And so all the sugar that you were consuming through the pop, through the whatever, and as well as the carbs, it was making more and more yeast in your body.
Right.
So your body was just full of it. That's also what was causing the pain.
That's right, because the yeast causes inflammation. And every place that yeast collects, inflammation collects, and that's where the pain was coming from.
And you were full of it.
And I was full of it.
And little did we know. So you would start to feel worse, so then you'd soothe with that food again,
That's right.
and it just kept compiling.
Exactly.
And to the point where you just didn't even really want to get out of bed.
Right.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And if you look back now, you could tell that there was a lot of inflammation in my body. If you just would look back at my pictures
The
and stuff.
pictures, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah,
could
you can
tell.
see it, yeah.
You know, and you could physically see
The
big
pockets
the
and-
pockets of it. But
Yeah.
we didn't realize that was inflammation. We just thought my muscles were tight and bulging out. Well, not
So-
bulging out in a good way.
Yeah. So right before we went to a different doctor, you went to a specialist who put you on ridiculous amount of medication.
Exactly.
Because they thought that they had some medicine, a dose of medicine that would help, and it was this
That's
mix of an antidepressant plus
Right.
boom,
It was
boom,
an
boom, boom.
antidepressant in the morning, and it was a muscle relaxer, and a painkiller and a sleeping pill at night. And the combination of all that would make me feel better,
Yeah.
but it didn't
Didn't
do
work.
anything more than make me feel worse, because I was medicating myself at night, and then I was trying to unmedicate myself in the morning, and it was just,
And
it
you
was
can't take that
vicious.
stuff while you're working or
Absolutely
while you're driving.
not.
So
Exactly.
it just wasn't working.
It wasn't working at all.
So we ended up looking at a website and looking for an alternative medicine doctor. Happened to find one here right close to us in Charleston, in our back door. Little
Exactly.
did we know. And it has been life-changing for us.
It has been.
I know. Our whole family goes to him now. You know, we refer one person a month to him. He's just been great.
Right.
So, but tell us about that first doctor's appointment.
Okay, so the first time I went to the doctor, I went over my symptoms. The funny thing was the doctor never touched me. It was not put on a gown and let me examine you or anything. They just sat there and listened to me. And Mandy actually came with me to see what it was like. But so, I mean, it was like they knew me. First thing that they did was say that they thought I was going to have to do change my diet, which is what I was absolutely dreading, was changing my diet. And honestly, when the first thing came out of her mouth was no more carbonation, I thought, there's no way. I can't do that. You know, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
But I hurt so bad, and I felt like
You're at
I
that
owed
point.
it to my family to.
Yeah.
We would try anything. We were to the point of desperation.
Yeah, we had tried everything
We
else.
tried everything else. So we were going to do this no matter what. So first I had some tests. She tested my vitamin D level
Yeah.
and tested my hormone level. That was fun.
Yeah.
Taking the taking the spit test, we called it, to test our hormone level. And then she gave me the diet. And she started out by saying that I'd have to detox for 10 days. And the detox was going to be grueling. She didn't say that, but as she explained it, I knew it was
knew it
going to
would
be.
be.
Yeah. And but we said, okay, for 10 days we could do anything.
Yeah.
So the next day I go to work and I tell the people I work with that I'm going to go on this detox. It's going to be bad. I'm sorry for all of you because this is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But I wanted them to know right up front, my family to know right up front it was going to be hard, but
Yeah.
we'd try it. So here's what the detox was. The first 2 days it was only vegetable juice,
Which you hate.
which I do not like at all. I like tomato juice, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So 2 days of vegetable juice. The next 2 days was any green raw vegetable. The next 2 days was any colored raw vegetable. Then 2 days of any cooked vegetable, and then on the 9th and 10th day I could add meat.
I mean, that's it.
That's it.
all you could have. And no pop. You
No
had to get rid of the pop.
carbonation, no carbonation. So, and this was all going to because she felt sure I had that I was
Yeah, you
filled
had
with
yeast
yeast.
overgrowth.
Exactly. So this would be the yeast detox, and that's what we had to do. Drink only water. So I have to tell you one thing that really helped me was the girls at work said, "Well, if you're going to do a detox, we're going to do it too." And I was so against it because
I
I knew
know.
this was so drastic, but it changed
It helped.
everything because I don't know how we would have done it without it.
Yeah.
And it was a riot at work. I mean, we all came in with our vegetable juice and our V8 juice and our spicy V8 juice and our hot V8 juice. And till noon the first day, everybody was great. I mean, we had a whole refrigerator of different vegetable juices. But by noon, I'm telling you, none of us could even take one more drink of vegetable juice. It was terrible. We weren't going to, we kept telling each other we weren't going to give it up. So pretty much that whole rest of that day, we drank water.
Yeah, which is real hard for you.
Which is really hard for me. I mean, I didn't drink water at all. I never did.
Never. And I have to do a side note too, because we tried to get you to drink water leading up to that, and we just couldn't. So Kirk had this great idea. Well, Lou, if you could just do a shot of water every hour, then look at how much you're going to consume.
Yeah.
And we got you to at least do a shot.
That's
and
right.
that was the extent of water.
I had a medicine cup like from a NyQuil bottle, and I would fill that up and down it every hour at work. And Kirk would check in and see how I was doing.
Sure.
But anyway, so the first night I came home, I went straight to bed. The second morning I got up, I didn't feel too bad, and tromp into work the next day, could not drink the vegetable juice. Absolutely couldn't. It was terrible. And the doctor had told me if I could make it through 6 days, that the craving for sugar would go away. But I'll tell you, it was hard. I mean, it was hard without the carbonation. It was hard without the carbs, without the sugar.
You couldn't even chew gum either,
You
could
couldn't
you?
do anything. You couldn't even take any medicine, and I got a really bad headache.
I remember that.
And finally I called the doctor and said, could I take 2 Excedrin, even though they had caffeine in them? And she told me I could, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I held off. The funny thing was, when I got to the third day, I could have green vegetables. Well, I had bought all my green vegetables, but I didn't clean them. So like at 3:30 in the morning of the third day, I woke up, and I had to have something, so I ran to the refrigerator, and the only thing that was cleaned in there were green onions. So I ate the top off of a green onion, and it was wonderful.
Oh my gosh.
But that took care, once I got to that part, then it was,
Then you were good.
it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't easy.
But you were on your way to work eating green peppers, green onions for breakfast.
Exactly, for breakfast.
Yeah.
By the 4th day, I was starting to feel better, but it was like, couldn't be happening. And the funny thing was, one of the girls at work that was doing it with me, she complained of her feet and her knees hurting all the time. And she's 10 years younger than me, but every day her feet just killed her. And so she thought her feet were feeling better by the 4th day, but neither one of us were going to mention it, that we were feeling better, because there could be no way. So 5th day, we started adding different vegetables. We could have tomatoes and carrots.
Oh,
so
thank goodness,
our
yeah.
breakfast was carrots and celery. And, we whispered to each other, don't say anything, but I'm feeling better. And she said the same thing, that her feet didn't hurt. I mean, it was just like, you can believe it. By the 6th day, I mean, I got up out of bed, and I actually did exactly what I said I wanted to. I got up like a normal person.
Yeah.
And I didn't hurt.
Oh, wow.
In just 6 days. And by day 7 and 8, honestly, all that craving for sugar was gone. I still had a problem. I still wanted the Sprite. I still wanted the carbonation, but I was long over it.
Yeah.
And I was getting used to the water, and I was feeling so much better. By the 10th day, we could add meat. I mean, it was easy by then. By then, I didn't crave. Just exactly what the doctor said. I didn't crave any more sweets.
Wow.
I didn't crave bread. I haven't had a piece of bread for 13 months.
And it's not even gluten or anything. I mean, you just had to go completely off of
I had
the
to
breads, the
get
carbs.
anything that had yeast in it. The thing that she explained to me was that sugar was the biggest, yeast feeds on sugar. So the more sugar I took in, the more the yeast multiplied. So once I got rid of the sugar, then the yeast tamed down.
Nice.
And I just don't put it back in my body anymore.
Good. All right, so you blogged about this experience during the whole time, and that was really nice and fun too, because people reached out really from all across the country that you didn't even know, who were supporting you, who were going through the same challenges. So that was comforting too.
It did, and it was a great experience for me too, because I could visually see then, where my pain level started out at 9 or 10, and it was really that, that severe. And then it was down to like 3 or 2 or 1.5. And every day you would call me and say, "What's your pain level? What's your pain level?"
Scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah, and but it really did. It went down that much that quick.
Wow.
It was amazing.
So it's been a year.
It's been a year.
1 year.
It was
and,
1 year on April 9th.
And now you can get out of bed and you feel
can.
better.
I feel so much better. It's really not that hard to eat like this because I know now I'm going to feel better.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, right, any sugar I put in my body now, I can't tolerate it. And I can't believe for 20 years that I didn't figure out that sugar was my culprit.
Wow.
I mean, it doesn't take any kind of sugar at all for me to put in my body, and it'll put me right back in pain.
Isn't that something?
It is.
And then you have to almost just detox again
Exactly.
just to get it out.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's definitely not worth it. And you know, it's just not Fibro that feeds on sugar. Now that I know,
Yeah.
and I start reading, you know, there's cancer, there's different
cancer.
cancers that feed off sugar, and
Yes.
And just like the rheumatoid arthritis, the regular arthritis, you know, sugar's just. It's not good for your body. It's amazing that it's really the food that keeps everything not good going in your body.
That's right. So has it been hard for you to keep that diet going for
It's
year?
it's a little bit hard. Like right now we're going into spring and summer. Okay, now I'm starting to want that ice cream again.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just, you know, I think about it and then I know I can't.
Yeah.
You know, I know it's not worth it to me.
It isn't.
It is just not worth
And
it.
even the doctor said you could start to slowly bring some other things back to your
Yeah.
diet, but you chose not.
I
you don't
chose
even
not
wanna
to
go
because
down
I'm
that
afraid.
route.
Yeah, I'm afraid once I start back, I won't. And it's enough for me to know that, like, sometime, like yesterday at work, for example, we had frozen yogurt. And at 3:30 this morning, I woke up in lots of pain.
Already.
Yeah. So it just, I can't do it. It's just, there's
Oh
no
my
tolerance for it. And I don't mind it and I don't think about it.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
So your breakfast is raw vegetables.
My breakfast is still raw vegetables or else some kind of protein.
or protein.
Like
yeah.
this, like driving to Charleston today, I ate a half a piece of salmon for breakfast.
Oh.
and a piece of cheese.
Yeah.
You know, and that is my breakfast every morning. And
Yeah.
if I don't eat a protein like that, then I'll eat vegetables.
And then you do salad for lunch.
Yeah, we all
load it
yeah,
up with
load it
your
up.
vegetables and
All the vegetables, all the chicken and
Yeah.
cheese, and you know, and the doctor told me to eat cheese because
cheese.
cheese was good for me. I needed the protein, so that's a salad is great. And then dinner is just meat and vegetable.
yeah.
And that works out great for our whole family.
Yeah, that works out well. And
You
you
know,
can do nuts and
I
things
can
like
do
that.
nuts for a
so-
snack, and I tell you what the key is to be prepared. You've got to have stuff prepared in your
Yes.
refrigerator. And in our refrigerator at work is full of stuff that's healthy.
Is it?
In
Yeah.
my desk drawer is full of stuff that's healthy.
Yeah.
If you go out and look in the console of my car,
Yeah.
I've got nuts.
Nice. Yeah.
You know, and you've got to be prepared.
I agree. You're right.
You know, it's no different than if you're getting your kids prepared for a healthy snack, or if you're as an adult.
Yeah.
Just be prepared with things that are healthy. Because
That's
if you
great.
don't have something healthy, you know, you're going to go get something else.
So what does the doctor have you on now for? I mean, you now see him every.
I see my doctor now about every 6 months. I'm pretty much off of my medications. I just follow the diet, and it seems to be working
and you take
fine
a few
for me.
supplements. You do
I
probiotic.
still do take my probiotic. I
Vitamin
do
D.
take vitamin D. We didn't say, but we probably should have. That one thing was my vitamin D level was really, really low.
Like single digit low.
Yeah, about as low as she'd ever seen it. And it just by taking the vitamin D supplements, it came back up to normal, and that made a big difference.
Yeah.
I do take cod liver oil every day too, and because it's a good omega-3 and it's also good for inflammation.
Yeah.
And like everything else I do, that was hard for me. So I have to hold my nose and take a tablespoon every day, but I take it every day.
Yeah.
And not only does it help with my inflammation, but my nails, my hair, you know, your skin, everything's better because of it.
It is. Yeah.
The thing I like about my doctor now is that's how she thinks about things. Is you know, if you have a problem, what can you take that's natural?
That's right. Yes.
You know,
Or
so,
use the food to heal. And what can
Exactly.
you get out of your?
yeah, it's not just always
Body.
not always just take 16 Advil
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
or take a sleeping pill. It's, you know, what can you do natural?
So I think that's a good ending point for us. If we could think of maybe 2 takeaways from this, 2 life lessons. One is probably that don't always look for that pill as your quick fix.
That's exactly right. Don't look for that pill. And look for somebody in your healthcare professional that is willing to think alternatively. That's real important. And we looked a long time to find somebody. But it was well worth the find. Definitely don't just think that there's always going to be a pill to fix everything, because I took a lot of pills that didn't fix my everything, you know, and it just caused more issues. And now it's much better.
Wow.
And the second thing I think that you should take away from it is that you can do anything you set your mind to, honestly. You know, if you'd have told me a year ago, what would I hope for in my life, and I would have thought, I'd like to lose 20 pounds and I'd like to feel better. Well, now I've lost 50 pounds without even concentrating on it. And I can drink water, and I can eat this way, and it's just second nature for us now.
Yeah, you're right. It's really a lifestyle change.
It is exactly
about
a
diet.
It is not about a diet at all.
It seems like, you know, growing up, every diet, I mean, you name it.
Every
you tried
diet, we did it all.
Sugar busters. I mean, it was all
We
of
did
them.
it all.
And, but this isn't a diet. I mean, this is how life will be forever.
You know, everybody I worked with, though, did lose weight.
Yeah.
Lots of weight. And we're all much healthier.
Yeah.
Our biggest hurdle now is not to be health snobs.
Yeah.
You know, because if you're with us and you're eating
Yeah.
Biscuits and gravy, you
Yeah.
know, we try really hard not to snub our nose at, but you can bet somebody's going to say something to you about it. But that's the biggest hurdle now.
That's great. Oh, how fun. Wow, I love this. Well, it's been pretty awesome for all of us, though. I mean, 2 years ago, when Dad said, if something doesn't change, I'm going to be a widow, to think of where we are now.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. And everybody who sees you just loves it, and it's pretty
People
pretty
see
great.
me a lot different than I do. I mean, I don't really see the big difference. I just feel the difference.
You just feel different.
Yeah.
That's great.
But somebody that hasn't seen me for a long time will go, wow.
It's great. So that concludes our interview series, and I just have to say this has been an amazing year for our family. We have learned so much through this process. I mean, it really has been life-changing to be able to go through this, and to have lived with this for such a long period of time, and to have finally found, you know, how to fix it is pretty darn exciting for us. So what came through this process was a lot of folks who were reading Mom's blogs, and people who now have friends or family. I mean, they're coming through out of the woodworks to tell us, you know, I know somebody else who's impacted by fibro, or I know this person who has fibromyalgia too, and they don't have any resources and they don't know what to do about it. So we will go ahead and give you some of our resources at the very bottom of this, in case you want to share that with them. And then if you also want to see Mom's 10-day detox journey, it's a pretty incredible process. You can see that fibrometer start to go down after each and every day. The link for that is at lindygolden.com, and we'll also put that website address at the very bottom of this too. So hope you enjoyed it. I mean, again, we owe a lot of thanks to our friend Carrie Cather Fick, who was in our previous interview series, because she really helped us to kind of see that there's a lot more inside that we need to be looking at than just the pill or that quick fix. So again, it's been a pretty life-changing opportunity for us. So hope that you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all back again for our very next interview.